Hi guys, Everyday Knife Guy here with another simple paracord tutorial for you. Today I wanted to do a pretty basic monkey fist. This will be a 4-pass monkey fist, and the number of passes, or basically the number of strands you can see visible on each side of the ball, basically determined by what object you want to put in the middle. So for this I'm going to be using just a plain marble, and this is about 5/8 diameter. So as a general rule, so maybe I don't know, maybe a ½ inch marble you could get away with 3 passes, 5/8, 3/4, 4 passes, and so on. You'll see videos online of guys doing golf balls and larger objects, billiard balls, and they're using 9, 10, 11 passes, something like that. So yeah, just experiment with the size and what object you want to put in the middle. A lot of people obviously use ball bearings, fishing weights, things like that. Anything circular is good, so that's what we're going to use today. I have about 8 feet of dark grey paracord here. This is 550 cord, 7-strand innard, and the strands haven't been removed, so it's the full cord. Yeah, so for the larger monkey fist where you have maybe 5 and up passes, it's useful to have a little wooden jig for actually making these, and you'll see those all over the internet and instructions on how to make them, places you can buy them, etc. But for 3 or 4 passes, it's pretty easy to do it on your hands, so that's what we're going to be doing today. So you want to go to one end of your cord, leave yourself a little bit of tail. And I should say that 8 feet is plentiful for doing this size, but it's always nice to have a little bit extra in case things go a little bit wrong or take a little bit more. So you want to have one end of the cord like that in your hand, and we're basically going to count the passes on each side that we do. So first thing you're going to do is wrap around your top 3 fingers. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's push that up there like that. So there you can count as you go. It's quite a simple thing to do. So you have 4 passes there. Now we're basically going to go horizontally and do 4 passes in the other direction. So at this point I actually like to move my top finger out there and take my middle finger out. So we just have a bit of a gap, and we can actually go round the back of the first 4. So I'm just going to bring the long end of the cord up around this finger, and then if I can find the end here, put the marble to the side just now so I don't lose it. I'm just going to go round the back of those 4 and up through this gap of my fingers. Pull all that through. So there, that's our first pass in that direction. So we're just going to do that again. Don't pull it too tight at this point, because this compartment we're making in the middle here is where the marble needs to go. So we're going to want that to be fairly snug so it stays in there while we complete the rest of the weave, but you don't want it to be so tight that it's not going to even go in there. So as you do each pass, just slacken it off a little bit, make it, you're making a compartment in there. I don't know if you can see very well, but you're trying to make a compartment that looks like it's going to fit that 5/8 marble that we have. So again, we're basically just going round the back of this whole construction and back up through the gap, like so. So there we have on this side 1, 2, 3, 4. We still have our 4 at the bottom there. Don't worry about this piece, this is going to get pulled through. So we have made our little box, so you might want to just slacken off the last 2 loops there, and then we're just going to take our marble and basically just pop that down into that compartment that we've made. So just push it down in there, and then we can retighten these around. So you should feel that that's pretty secure in there. The marble's held by these 4 coils around here. So we're just going to basically slide the whole thing off our fingers, and it should be, if you've not over tightened it but kept it quite snug, it should come off just as one unit like that. That should be what you have. Tail in the back coming out, your long piece coming across the front there. I'll get the camera to focus for you. And yeah, you have this coil coming up like that at the front, so that's what you have. So now we're basically just going to complete the final wrap or set of passes. So just going to take our long end and go through the top, pull everything through like so. Just make sure the cord doesn't get too twisted up. Try and keep it nice and loose and flexible as you go, and then we're literally just going to come back up through the bottom hole there. Pull that right through, and just try and pinch the original kind of structure that we had, just keep everything in place. So once we go back through the top here, that will be our first pass. Oops. And yeah, don't do what I just did and catch the tail in there. So try and keep that out of the way, because you don't want that getting wrapped up in it. I'm just going to adjust the light here and see if I can shed a little bit more light on the knot for you. There you go. Okay, so there's one pass. So we're just going to do that again. So up through the bottom, down through the top. You can do it as one movement. If you have a longer piece like this to pull through, it makes things a little quicker. Up through the bottom, down through the top. And just try and ease things off a little bit. Make room across here in this width here. Try and make enough room for 4 passes to sit side by side so they're not all lapping up on each other or crossing over, because then it's just going to make things a little messy at the end. And I mean, this looks a little messy anyway, but it's one of these knots that just takes a little bit of sorting out to get it looking the way it should. So there we go. You can see now we have 4 passes there. Our long piece is exiting out the back of the top loop. Our short original tail is still going in at the bottom of this side at the back. We have 4 on top, 4 on that side, 4 in the back, 4 in the front, and 4 in the bottom. Now you can see in places they are a little messy and a little lapped over and stuff, but that's basically what we're going to do now, is just sort this whole thing out. And yeah, it's just a case of cinching up all the slack. So the way I like to do that is, first of all, is just use the short tail and pull that through. Now obviously you need to work through the slack in all these loops to get it all out into this piece, but it's nice to just pull that out first, because that kind of starts to hold things in place and gives you time and frees up your hands a little bit to pull out all the others. So then it is literally just a case of working your way through and pulling out all the slack as you go. So I'm going to pause this now, because sorting out a knot like this is literally going to take me probably about 5 minutes to get it nice and tight. So no point in you watching that. I'll be right back. So there we are, guys. I've pulled through all the slack there, tightened it all up, and just tried to, as I say, get all the cords lying as neatly side by side as you can. So you should have 4 on every side, and it should look something like that. So it's a small monkey fist, and it depends what you want to do with the tail. If you want a single strand coming out, obviously the short end that you originally started with going across your hand, you can work as much of that back through the knot into the long side as you want. I've actually done it the opposite way and tried to work it through onto the short side, so I've kind of ended up with you know, maybe 1.5 feet on, at least on both strands. I have a bit of extra on this one. So if I wanted to turn this into a key fob or a small you know, knife fob or something like that, or even just put a handle on it with snake knots or something, I do have a little bit left over there. But yeah, you could just snip that off and singe it there, or snip both off and singe them, and you just have a little paracord ball. So there you are, guys. Tried to keep it as concise as I could, and that's just the basic technique for making a gorilla fist, and monkey fist rather. Why did I say gorilla fist? Monkey fist, and you can make it any size you want, just depends on what you're putting in the middle. Thanks for watching. As always, if you enjoyed this, please like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.